At Chatham House in London, Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar highlighted India's economic resilience, the restoration of social justice in Kashmir, and the region's high voter turnout in recent elections. He also addressed key global economic topics, including the Indian Rupees, BRICS, and de-dollarization, while commenting on US President Donald Trump's trade policies and their impact on India. Take a look.
What do you make of the first 41 days of the US's new foreign policy? Is it good for India? Is it good for the world?
Well, it's interesting. And I think, and some of it, I must say in all honesty, is not surprising. If you actually tracked it and assume that most of the time, political leaders at least do much of what they promise to do. They do not always succeed, or they do not always get everything they want, but as a general principle, when people, when political forces or political leaders have an agenda, and particularly if it is one which they have developed over a fairly long period of time and have been very articulate, even passionate about it, then I think much of what we have seen and heard over the last few weeks was to be expected. So I'm a little surprised that people are surprised. Now, that said, is it good for India? In many ways, I would say yes. My Prime Minister was in Washington about 2 weeks ago. I had accompanied him. I was myself there for the presidential inauguration. And when I look at our interests and our expectations of the relationship, I think there's a lot of promise we see there. Conceptually, I think we see a president and an administration which, in our parlance, is moving towards multipolarity. And that is something which suits India.
When you say that they are moving towards multipolarity, do you mean accepting or even encouraging there being many poles of power in the world?
I think practicing, and by practicing, promoting. That since 1945, one tends to think and talk about the United States as US and the Western world. So it's more like a bloc rather than a nation. I think what is quite clear is the US's own self-perception is now more as a nation and perhaps a little less as a bloc. Not entirely, one and not the other, but definitely the needle has moved in the direction of a more national personality and a more national analysis of its self-interest. If one looks, at our own relationship politically, to be very honest with you, we've never had any issues with American presidents, at least in recent times. There's no baggage which we carry or burden that the relationship carries. I think from President Trump's perspective, the one big shared enterprise that we have is the Quad. And the Quad is an understanding where everybody pays their fair share. So there's no spat about who's paying for whom. There are no free riders in Quad. So that's a good model for which works, which was restarted during President Trump's first term. And if I were to look at some of the big priorities of this president, many of them actually work for us. He seems to be, for example, committed to keeping energy prices reasonably affordable and stable. We welcome that. He is putting a lot of emphasis on tech, on the development of tech, on the use of tech as a game changer in global politics. I think that offers a lot of possibilities, for us. He appears open to connectivity initiatives of a certain collaborative nature. We have deep interest in that. So I would say, and of course, he has a certain view of trade.